What's up everybody, it's RJ with Twin Halos, and today we're going to be hitting some whoops. So if there's a turn before the whoops, that's what you want to get down first. So when you're coming through that turn, you want to make sure halfway through that you're looking at the whoops and what line that you're going to take when hitting the whoops. You're also going to set your bike up to hit them straight rather than continuously turning and exiting the whoop sideways, which I have done. So make sure that you have the turn down first, which is going to set you up to hit the whoops correctly. So the next step is when you're coming out of the turn, you need to upshift into the next gear. So if you're taking the turn in third gear, you need to shift into fourth. The reason for that is you want to continuously accelerate through the whoops. That way you get through them as quickly and safely as possible. Because if the bike starts to swap, you still have plenty of acceleration that's going to help push you forward to get you out of the whoops. All right, so now you're coming out of the turn, you upshifted, now it's time to prep the body for the whoops. What you want to do, instead of being on the arches of your feet, you want to be on the ball of your feet right here. That way you have this motion here with your feet, so you have more control. So put your feet there, put them into the frame, and grip the bike with your knees. This is going to help keep the bike from swapping back and forth and maintain traction coming forward. And now for body position, you want to make sure that you're bent here at the hips and not just at the knees here, but you want to hold this position, elbows up, and chin is going to be slightly behind the bar if you're a taller rider. Shorter riders are going to be up here with your chin on top of the bar here. So that's going to be the correct body position when you start hitting the whoops. So now the last thing that you need to do is you've got your correct gear, you're squeezing the bike, you're ready to go, you're starting to hit the whoops. You need to start looking ahead at the third and fourth whoop. Don't look at the immediate one. Make sure that you're looking ahead and just let the bike do its thing underneath you as you're maintaining this position here. So that's how you're gonna get through the whoops. But these are ideal conditions. What happens when the bike starts to swap? That's what we're gonna address right now. Let's say that you've tried everything that I mentioned here today and the bike is continuously swapping back and forth. The last thing that you wanna do is start to brake in the whoops. The reason why that's a bad thing is because if the bike is starting to stop and the bike is swapped out to the side, that's only going to help the swapping of the bike come out to the side, left or right. It's the same thing like an 18-wheeler. It's going to jackknife. If it's not straight and it starts to brake, that trailer is going to come around to the side. So the same thing is going to happen with the bike. So don't brake thinking that that's going to help save the swapping. The thing that's going to help straighten out the swap is going to be steady throttle, either accelerated or steady throttle, because as long as the bike is pushing forward, that's going to help keep the bike going forward. On top of that, you may have forgotten to squeeze the bike. So go back to the first tip and make sure that you're squeezing the bike, steady throttle all the way through, and that your body position isn't too far forward. Because if you're too far forward, more weight is on the front end, and it's almost like braking, like I was talking about earlier. There's too much weight here, and now the ass end is coming out to the side, and that's going to help the swapping back and forth. So make sure you've checked those three things. So now let's say you're doing every technique as good as possible, but the bike is still swapping back and forth. That's where you want to start looking at your suspension. So make sure that you set up your sag, and if you need to, after you're done setting up your sag, then start messing with the clickers. Soften it or stiffen it to make sure that the bike is going to continue tracking straight. The suspension can easily be overlooked, so make sure that not only your technique is set up, but the bike is set up to take on these obstacles such as the whoops. So this is one technique on how to hit the whoops and one way of diagnosing how bad your swapping is and where it's coming from. So I hope you guys found this informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Other than that, that's it for me. So go out there and start hitting some whoops. And just be aware, it's gonna take some practice. That's it for me today. I'm RJ with Twin Halos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.